Morning, everyone. This is day 2 of the coffee detox blog, or the habit formation blog, whichever way you'd like to think about it. And today I just wanted to go into a couple of the nuances that I associate with a habit, specifically with coffee drinking. Today is Whole Foods. I wanted to clarify, yesterday, said that was my last cup of coffee. I realized that I actually do 2 a day. So 1 in the morning just to get going, and between 8 and noon is usually my most productive time of the day, when my brain's just firing on all cylinders and I'm able to organize things well in my brain and just knock things out one at a time. Doesn't matter if I have multiple projects going on, I can swap between things pretty efficiently, and then that tailors off towards the end of the day. But the second cup of coffee I usually have is a pre-workout supplement. It's not a pre-workout supplement specifically, but that's what I use it for, just to amp my nervous system up so that I can push a little harder in the gym. It definitely serves as a pain suppression mechanism, just for those last couple of reps on each set that really count. You can definitely get through a little bit more than you can without it, but that might stay there just because that doesn't have any negative effect on me, because that energy gets burned off immediately, or that might be later. So what I am trying to do is that morning cup, like right now, to get rid of that, or slowly taper it off into no stimulants in the morning, other than when they will be directly used for some benefit, used as a tool instead of a crutch. So the first thing that I realize I associate with that positive euphoric feeling of that sip of coffee in the morning, couple things, is the warmth and the motion of sipping. So I don't get the same benefit at all if I make coffee, or if I even pour the coffee into a mug and do that. It's something to do with holding the trained behavior of holding a cup and doing that, and having little bits of warmth. I don't know what that is. That's a similar thing to people who are trying to quit cigarettes and they just need either a vape pen or this the motion of doing that and inhaling. So it's the same thing. It's an ingrained pattern that triggers that that dopamine response, that reward pathway that's associated with addiction, which is definitely what this is. So that's easy to replace. So I'm just going to use my Yeti, and this has a little mug and it's the exact same thing. I don't know if my brain will be able to tell it's a fake out because it's a different texture. So we'll see about that tomorrow. But the next step would then be slowly diluting the dosage. And this applies to substances, obviously. So if you're going for a behavior change that doesn't involve intaking anything, this will be different. But for coffee, I'm going to slowly wean the caffeine levels down, so to get my my receptors ready for, I'm probably at somewhere between 80 and 120 milligrams in that cup. So I'm going to knock that down to the same amount of caffeine, but what I'm going to do to start tricking myself is making that last longer. So that 1 cup of coffee, I'm going to pour half in here and mix it with this. This is the brand's Puka, not an affiliate, but this is close to the taste and texture of coffee. The other thing my brain probably wants with the coffee is the rich bitterness that's also associated with a bunch of sensory pleasure. So this is close. This is what I've been able to find that's pretty close to that. It's a maca drink. It's got cacao and a bunch of root powders, ginger, maca, ashwagandha, cinnamon. So it's got that rich, nutty, dark, bitter flavor. So it'll be pretty close. And I'm going to mix half of this with that, and this is twice the amount that I usually drink, so I'm going to make that last into the afternoon. So I will effectively be cutting my caffeine dosage in half. So I'm not going to do that cup of coffee, the additional cup of coffee in the afternoon. So that's one way to do it. Just slowly start weaning the caffeine amount down. So you're still getting that, and your receptors that are used to that are still getting that, so you don't get the pounding headaches. But that should satisfy the sipping warm feeling, the rich bitter feeling. We'll see what the dosage does and if it's actually sufficient to stave off any negative effects. And then I'm just gonna be drinking more water, so I'll probably be a little more efficient anyway with just metabolizing all of that. So we'll see. The other thing I wanted to address in this video is the health coaching approach to habit formation. And that's an entire method of setting parameters so that your goal is specific and you actually accomplish it. So instead of just, previously when I've done this, I just say, I want to quit stimulants. And then I just have to remember not to do it and fight the urge every day, which is how I usually fail, how most people fail. The way to make it a little more successful is to build self-efficacy, which just means you have to prove to yourself that you are capable of following through on things that you set for yourself. And the way to do that is just to bring your goals down into highly manageable chunks. So that is the S.M.A.R.T system. I will put a bunch of things on the screen about what that stands for, but basically it's an acronym, and it just means you have to have a very specific, time-bound, measurable goal that aligns with your values that you have the resources to do. I believe it is specific, meaning you have to say, getting off of all stimulants wouldn't be a good first step goal. That's too broad. So it would be, I want to reduce the amount of caffeine that I intake to half of what I'm doing. Measurable, just meaning you have to be able to actually have an objective metric to measure that by, as in, instead of 2 cups, I'm going to do 1 cup, or instead of 120 milligrams, I'm going to do 60 milligrams. Attainable would just mean, do you have the capacity to actually attain that? For this, yeah, everything is within my control. If it's a different goal, such as I want to start running Ironmans, you might need some more resources for that. Relevant means it has to actually mean something to you. It can't be too lofty, or has to be grounded in your life. So relevant to me, yes, I suffer the negative consequences of too much caffeine, and it would immediately benefit me in my day-to-day life, my sleep habits, to get off of that. And then time-bound, you can't just say, within the next month, I want to accomplish this somehow. So that is, for this specific goal, that is, for me, in the next week, I want to consistently, every day, cut my caffeine in half by using half a cup of coffee with a teaspoon or however much of that as the other cup. So I'm going to do that, see if I can do that for a week. So this time next week, I want to have done that every day, and then the next week we'll make another goal that'll either reduce the amount or dilute the dosage in some way. And that'll be another specific goal. So the long-term goal is, yeah, over the course of January, I want to remove all stimulants that are not immediately used as a tool for my workouts. That is the broader goal. And then we're just gonna split that into week-long goals and see if we can bang those out. We'll slowly start training our brain. It said it takes 21 days to change a habit. And that's different in a lot of people. Some people can do that real quick, and some people that takes 6 weeks. So 21 days is perfect for definitely getting the dosage down and getting all of those different sensory adaptations trained to either not care about the actual caffeine content and just have that warm sipping motion, and then after that we'll try to get rid of that warm sipping motion and just focus on using it as a tool instead of a crutch. And I will talk to you tomorrow, and we'll see about different sensory perceptions and how substituting with some powder is working, and if I'm fooling myself or not.